a number of things, one of which is what I call our epistemological challenge. Epistemology is a fancy word for simply the study of knowledge, its origin, its scope, and its limits. If you take that in college, you're wasting your time because it's usually part of the philosophy department, and all they do is massage different definitions of words without dealing at all with tools of how to deal with the understanding what's really true as we try to explore our reality. And so I want to start, when I do this kind of a talk, I usually walk in wearing these beads. I want to talk about these beads before we start because I want to give you an IQ test. Now, the way this all came about is I have a little crafts workshop where I do models and things, and I spilled on the floor a whole jar of these black and white beads. So as I picked them up, I decided I didn't want that to happen again, so I just picked them up at random and put them on this thread, and so that they now have integrity. I could take a few off that I need or whatever. Except after I picked them up off the floor, I was startled to notice something. Because as I looked at it, anybody here radio hams that know Morse code? Hey, there we go. Okay. Well, I noticed there's did it, and then da dit. Did it is I, and da dit is in. The word in. Then there was a dash, which is by itself, that's a T. And then there's 4 dots, that's an H. And then there's a single dot, E. In the. Then there's a B, E, and a G, I, in the beginning. And to get right through it, I was stunned to discover that in Morse code, we have in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth in Morse code. And that all happened by random accident. I picked these off the floor randomly and put them on that thread, and they just came out that way by accident. How many believe me? How many are accusing me of being a liar? The liars have it. You obviously, if I try to tell you that happened by accident, you know I'm pulling your leg. You know that I'm kidding. If I had better delivery, I could make the whole thing humorous, but you get the idea. Okay. So the probability that this happened by accident is, as far as you're concerned, absurd. It's not a 50-50 chance. It's something far greater than that, right? Well, that's did this happen by chance or by design? I want you to ponder that for a moment. There are 347 beads on this string. Now, there's only 2 types of beads, a black and a white. So I have an alphabet of 2. I have 347 of them, right? So the probability of getting any specific sequence is 1 chance in 2 raised to the 347th power. Or putting it another way, it's 2.8669 times 10 with 104 zeros after it. That is a very big number. In other words, that is really unlikely. I'm going to try to get across to you how unlikely that really is. From your own instincts, without having studied advanced statistics or anything, you knew in your heart of hearts that I was pulling your leg with my little story. But if you have some mathematical sophistication, you can quickly realize the probability of any specific sequence there is absurdly unlikely. There is a law in physics called Borel's law. There are often functions in mathematics that become asymptotic to some other value. For example, it gets very close. It never crosses 0, but it gets closer and closer and closer forever. There's a point in mathematics where you have to have a cutoff, where you say that enough's enough, that's sufficient. They call that Borel's law. And any probability with 10 with 50 zeros after it is defined as absurd. Any probability that is more rare than one chance in 10 with 50 zeros after it is defined as absurd. There's a point at which you need to cut off. I want to get that across to you because we live in a culture that astonishingly attributes design to randomness. Design in nature is treated as random. We were all the result of a cosmic accident. It's astonishing to realize we live in a culture, in our science and in our psychology, in our schools, whatever, that has ruled out the concept of design as being a source of anything. It attributes that to randomness. That's what the theory of evolution is, an attempt to ascribe. Here we are, we encounter ourselves as the most elegant designs on the planet Earth, and we attribute those designs to nothingness, to absence, to randomness. I want you to understand the absurdity of that and the difficulty of thinking intellectuals that are career-bound in an environment in which if they speak of intelligent design in nature and so forth, they jeopardize their careers. You need to understand that.